Hello, everyone.
Hey.
We're back.
Nice.
It's been a while.
Mhm.
Print and Man Council. It's been gone for a while, but we're all back home from all the various trips. Juna's just come back from Printify Vid Summit. We've done Vid Summit. But yeah, great to be back. Thanks to everyone who's joining already. Oh, we've already got 40 viewers. Wow.
Wow. Awesome. Look at that.
And we're trying something new today as well. Jay is streaming this as well. We're going to start streaming on multiple channels. So if you don't like me, you can watch it from from Juna's channel next time, or from Jay's, whoever's
same content. It's just
yeah. You're supporting someone else.
Adam, nice.
First of all, let's see where everyone's watching from.
Oh yeah.
Let us know where you're from. Got some Bailey fans in the chat.
Wow.
Adam's here.
Yeah, pretty awesome that we can, live stream this to multiple channels. We'll be able to reach everybody, so that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, hopefully we'll reach more people.
It'd be great. New Zealand, nice.
And then everyone else gets an extra upload as well. It's not just on my channel, which is cool. New Zealand, Egypt.
See Nemo there, Egypt. He's going to be a subject of conversation, I think, today. You had tumblers on the list.
Oh yeah, Nemo.
That Nemo. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've spoken to him as well already, haven't you?
I have, yeah. He's got some exciting things coming, which I think are great.
Yeah. So basically, the people that don't know, Nemo is the creator of that free plugin that I shared for tumblers, for resizing tumblers and Amazon merch, like resizing your t-shirt designs. And he's been adding some cool new features to it, which is great to see. So if you've seen that video, it already looks different. It already looks a lot better, that tool, and it's free.
That's amazing.
Have you tried that, Juna? Or
no, it sounds amazing though. I gotta try it.
I like it. It's great. It takes in order to have an image on both sides of the tumbler, you have to re-upload, and it wouldn't always upload it as the same size as the initial one for whatever reason. So he's got basically an integration, a Chrome extension that he created that you can just, once it's uploaded, and this is one thing he wanted me to say, is that it has to be in the global upload, so on the top one that would apply it to all products. So if you just drag and drop onto the tumbler, the extension won't work. But if you have it uploaded there, it populates on the left side. You just click his button there, and you can tick the 100% scale. Just tick that box and hit the submit button, and it'll populate it on both sides, and you are good to go.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's quick. Oh, and there's also a pattern element he can do, and he's working on I think a one-click applied to the back of the shirt too, which would be nice.
Oh, really? Has he added that?
Very smart.
Not yet, I don't think, but in the works.
But yeah, you've got to check out the pattern one, Juna. I think that would work really well with some of your kawaii designs. Just repeat them like all over the tumbler.
That's so smart. Yeah,
I think your style would work really well for that. So we're going to talk about tumblers a little bit, since that is a new thing on merch, and we've got a bit of a Tumblr expert with us. So not for merch, I know, don't worry. But for those of you who don't know Bailey, why don't you give them just a quick summary of what you do or what your channel's about?
Yeah, so I've been on Etsy for probably close to 7 years now in some capacity or the other. Started out handmade and then moved to print on demand for a good 2, almost 3 years probably, and then switched over to digital in 2022 and have just been digital, and then started the channel just 1 year ago, barely a year ago. So now just teach the digital designs mainly for specific crafting, like sublimation tumblers, t-shirt designs, though I actually have a lot of POD buyers who buy my designs, and I don't know where they sell them, but they buy them.
Okay. That's awesome.
That's so cool.
What sort of thing sells best for you on tumblers? Is it like patterns? Is it individual designs, like text? I can't
You know, the best ones that have always sold well are ones that are personalizable, like the
Yeah.
floral designs where they can put their name, and those are mainly being used for like wedding designs, bridesmaids, bachelorette parties, things like that. Next would probably be your Christian tumblers, Bible verses, and but also we've really seen a big uptick in like need for men's designs because it's been seriously lacking for the past 2 years. Like tumblers were very female dominated as far as the designs go. So those are really like, and there's just so much opportunity for men's designs because nobody's ever really focused on them much. And then of course, like your typical funny sayings that you guys put on shirts and things like that, those work really, really well for tumblers. And from what I've seen on my shop, it's always like the more sarcastic and the more, humorous they get, the
Crass.
better they sell.
Taking
Okay.
notes over here. This is awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone who's looking to sell digital downloads or who is selling digital downloads, take notes, because that's what Bailey's channel focuses on. Yeah, Juna.
I had a question on the tumbler. So Bailey, on your tumblers that you sell on Etsy, I know Amazon can't wrap all the way around to the edge. Does yours? Can you do a full pattern on your tumblers?
Yeah, we sell them. Well, we sell them 3 ways actually. So seamless is what you mean by like the
seamless.
pattern matches completely and it's the whole
Exactly.
design. Otherwise, people do make them where it does not match up and line up at all, and people still buy those. I personally don't make them because I'm too much of a that's a perfectionist thing. Like I couldn't handle that.
Yeah.
And so, and then the other way that they design them is just like do a main big central image, and then it's just transparent. So then that way you're not worrying about that seam or cutting off or anything on the top or the bottom.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we do on Amazon. We kind of have to do that because there is no seamless pattern on the Amazon versions.
Now the Printify ones, because we made several of those and I put them on the channel too. Those will go top to bottom all the way around.
That's cool.
But it's
Awesome.
a different type of printing. So you just design a little bit differently.
Very cool.
So what I'm wondering is, has anyone sold tumblers yet?
I haven't seen any.
I
You've not
uploaded
sold
my
any yet?
first ones today.
Oh, nice.
Really?
And you sold one? No.
Not yet.
Right.
Not yet.
It's been like an hour and a half, and 2 out of 4 are still in processing.
Have you uploaded some yet, Juna? Or?
Yeah, I probably uploaded about 100 or so.
Okay.
Not everything. Just I went through and in the last month or so looked at my top sellers and then made those tumblers, and just hoping that those top sellers will also be top sellers on tumblers. But it's, if you sell it on a t-shirt, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to sell it on the tumbler. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's the first thing I did as well. Just go through like the best-selling designs and enable them. If you're still doing that, definitely get that Chrome extension. Makes it a lot easier.
I am.
And let us know in the chat if you've had any sales yet, because there's been. Oh, here we go. Sold 2 tumblers last night.
Ooh, wow.
I have seen in the server some people
Nice.
starting to share tumbler sales.
It works.
If you've been uploading loads and you still haven't had a sale, hang tight. I think a lot of it is like still indexing anyway. It's only been like a week, hasn't it? Really?
Yeah. Has anybody put ads on tumblers? You can put ads on tumblers too, can't you?
Yeah, I've put ads on a few. I think I've had like 2 sales from ads.
Nice. Oh, so you also got some sales from Tumblr.
Yeah, but I also went like all in from day one. I've got thousands up already.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it, man.
A lot of it is scalable designs, to be fair. But anyone who has been uploading and not had sales, like how often do you upload a t-shirt and you get a sale in the first week? It's very rare. So
sold 5 yesterday. Look at that.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Fairly new on Etsy. Okay, so have you sold them on Etsy or on Amazon?
Yeah, good question.
But yeah, anyone who's already got Tumblr designs,
Good for
Etsy,
you guys. That's awesome.
try and put them on Amazon. Good opportunity now. By the way, I think most of my Tumblr sales have been Halloween stuff so far. So if you've got Halloween designs, try those.
Take some more notes here.
I asked in my survey before what people want to talk about, and one thing that came up a lot is tips for Q4.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is it like with digital downloads? Then, what's the approach for getting more sales in Q4? Maybe it's different to t-shirts. I don't know.
No, I mean, everything is, we are usually way ahead though of you guys, because you guys can get sales on shirts, 3 days before Christmas. Ours, like, they come in. We've been designing for Christmas for the past 2 months now already, because they need the designs to make the crafts usually so much easier or earlier. Most of them are taking these to like craft fairs and to like, some of them sell on Etsy, but not too many. They're like local sellers, or they have their own Shopify site or something like that. So they are really, really ahead of the game. Like, we start doing Halloween early June. And so, but then for Q4, as far as what's selling, everything is selling, because everybody needs a different type of tumbler wrap to make for the present or whatever they're going to sell. Or, if they are just a crafter, then they are just, making them as gifts. And so many of them make t-shirts too. So that's why we sell a lot of just individual PNG designs and things like that. But it's just not like one particular niche. It is everything. I mean, it was weird. This morning there were like 4 St. Patrick's Day designs that sold. And I was just like,
That's
okay,
awesome.
I mean, fine.
Random.
Yeah, everything's evergreen because it gets
Yes.
sold never.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I see there's some questions coming in. I've saved a few for the Q&A bit.
Okay.
So talk about some other stuff first, and then we'll do a Q&A, and then we'll do shop reviews again as well. That's been quite fun.
Nice.
So we'll drop a link in the chat again to a document where you can essentially share your store link. It could be an Etsy store, it could be TeePublic, Redbubble. Amazon is a bit difficult, I guess, but if you wanted to share a brand name on Amazon to get feedback on your designs or your listings, you can put them in there, and then we'll go through a few later on. Oh, here we go. I enjoyed your bit.
Oh, nice. Thanks, Carla.
That's actually one of the other topics I wanted to talk about briefly, because Juna's just been there. How's the Printify event?
That is amazing. I hope all of you get a chance to do it. I know Jay has already, but Printify treats everybody so nice. Their crew, casting crew, and everything is just top notch. This is only their 2nd year, and it's run like they've been doing it for years and years. But yeah,
That's
they're
awesome.
super nice, super helpful.
How many of you were there, like creators?
Yeah, you can go to the page, the Amplify page. I think there were 9 of us. Let's see, 4, 5, 9 or 10 of us creators. Yeah, and then of course they had other people there for that were presenting, but 9 or 10 of us print on demand YouTubers, I guess is.
Okay. So you got to meet Shimmy, right?
Yeah.
Chris, those
Chris
two have been on
Heckman.
the live stream.
Yeah.
I saw quite a few girls as well on pictures.
Cassie was there. Yeah.
Cassie, yeah.
And
Chris, see you online, Chris Heckman. Did you say
Chris Heckman and Christina? Yeah.
Christina, see you online.
Taylor POD.
Mac, Taylor POD was there. Mac was there. Starla was there. Yeah, just a whole bunch of top notch. Alec from you've seen his YouTube. He's probably one of the bigger print on demand YouTubers right now. So he was there. Yeah, it was a great time.
And there's for people who want to see some of the content from it, because we had like a lot of talks and stuff like that, didn't you?
Yeah.
I think it's all on the Printify YouTube.
Yeah,
right?
So it's one big stream right now. I'm sure they're going to cut it up, but just because they just did it right now, it's probably like there were 2 stages. It's a 6-hour stream of just session after session after session, and in between sessions, there's like a 10-minute break or something, 5-minute break, so that they get set up for the next session. And there was like a roving camera with Christina and another guy, Martin, going around and going into the green room. So when you weren't doing the session, you were in the green room eating food, talking to people, and all of that stuff. And so they got a little glimpse of that and other things. So it was fun. Yeah.
One thing I will say that I recognized almost immediately with the Printify crew is that all their staff, they genuinely care about what they're doing. Like they are vested in a way that I haven't, seen in what you would consider to be like, we pride ourselves with not being part of any kind of corporate environment or 9 to 5 kind of thing that way. But these guys are what they do day in and day out. They have a passion for it that, like, bar none is nothing like I've seen in a long time. And it was a really cool place, right? Their headquarters.
Yeah, we got to go to their headquarters too. Their office is right there near the market, near Latvia, the marketplace. You can just walk past it, and you can see the culture that's in their office too. Because I took a tour, and they have just some fun stuff. They have a basement full of games that you can go to. There's food everywhere. The big cafeteria. The workspaces, like they're all together and can talk together. They even have like a place where you can relax, and they have these. I've never seen this before, but they have rooms that are like sealed shut, like soundproof rooms. So you can make a call or do something in there if you needed it to, or if you needed to scream, you could do that too, and no one would hear you. So it's a fun culture too. So I can see why people would want to work there, and how they're happy being there, and just all around really cool environment. So,
what sort of stuff did you talk about?
In my sessions, I talked about mock-ups, what kind of mock-ups you should use for your stores, and other one was AI versus graphic design. I took the AI side since I've been using AI. I don't know. I think the jury's still out.
Okay.
But and then what was the other one? There was a third one. Oh,
Let me guess, you used Sticker Whiz.
Yeah, no, we didn't show us using it. We were
okay.
He was Talish was the person asking us questions, and he was asking a question, and then we would have to answer, can AI do that, or graphic design better for that, and that kind of stuff. So there were different things like that.
That sounds fun.
And then all the last one that I talked about was all the different integrations, because Printify has different ways that you can use their stuff through Etsy or Shopify or Wix or TikTok Shop, or like there's so many. So we kind of went through all of the different ways, and like how should you pick one? Should you pick a marketplace, or should you pick a standalone, or should you sell on TikTok Shop and all of that? So amazing. They have over 10 different integrations that you could use their stuff. It's so crazy, and adding more and more every time. So
yeah, and the TikTok thing is really new, isn't it, as well?
It's pretty new, this year. And Amazon's new this year too. So of course we have to talk about those. Yeah.
And for the Etsy sellers, they just integrated eRank as well, officially inside.
Yeah. Starla was there to talk about eRank. I didn't realize she's a manager for eRank too. So yeah, pretty cool.
Damn, that does sound fun.
Good time. Hopefully do it again next year. It's pretty cool.
I wasn't invited. That's why I wasn't there.
Next time. I think they could try to switch it up, because only 2 or 3 people were there from last year. They invited all new people. So.
Yeah, and then Christina was in a different capacity, right? She was almost like a co-host.
She was like a co-host. Yeah, she was the roving co-host that went through like I don't know how she did it, because she had her own speaking time, but she also had in between the 2 times, she had to go and rove around and talk with Martin with the mic and kind of ad-lib everything. So, and
it was cool to see Mac there from Money with Mac, Michaela again. Also there in a different capacity. Well, she's also done different things for them too now, like an actress on one of their ads and stuff. Pretty cool to see, right? Like people kind of doing different things.
Yeah.
Someone said, I didn't even know Printify is in Latvia. Trip.
It was a long trip.
Guess what else in Latvia as well?
There's Printify, Printful. There's a bunch of startups that are in Latvia that I was kind of looking at, and I was like, there's got to be something here. And so there's got to be something to do with the startup tax breaks, the funding, the government funding and stuff. Because you'll notice, like Juna, right? A lot of the staff in Printify weren't all Latvian by any stretch, right? There's a lot of people from all over the planet. Yeah, Talish, I know, is a Toronto, another guy from Toronto, Ontario, right?
Yeah. So and the cost of living seems a lot better than at least where I live in the United States. When we went out to eat and stuff, it wasn't as expensive as you would find here in the US. So
I feel like
I'm
most
sure there's
places
that too.
probably better than the
Yeah.
US.
Yeah, it's probably everywhere else.
Everywhere.
Like,
Besides London.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wait, I just saw something else. Anyway, Printful and Printify are really close to each other as well, aren't they? I've heard that.
Yeah. Location-wise, they're pretty
Location-wise,
close too. Yeah. Yeah.
Right next to each other.
They're not. Yeah, they're not exactly right next to each other, but they're in walking distance of each other.
Relatively
sure.
speaking, they're really close. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Probably a mile, 2 miles, something like that at the most.
Oh, on the Q4 topic, we didn't really talk about
Yes.
t-shirts there, and we have spoke about this before. We were just saying we don't really know what else to give in terms of tips, but it's always kind of focus on evergreens, upload new evergreen designs. I wouldn't do too much Christmas themed stuff.
Yeah.
Because ideally you want gifts that people buy for Christmas and then also buy the next year, like throughout for birthdays.
That's what I was going to say. It's gifts, but it's not necessarily Christmas on there. It's gifts you would buy for Christmas. Like if you know someone that's a doctor or a nurse or like hobbies and those kinds of things, I think can do really well because that's what you would buy for someone for their gift for Christmas gifts.
And something I think that I've always said, and I'm sure, Bailey selling the digital files is going to see lots of people buying the Christmas stuff and all that stuff too. But it's not that, there are still going to be people who are just going to go top heavy on Halloween and then Thanksgiving and then Christmas, right? And then wonder why the next 9 months of the year they sell nothing. If you're going to do Christmas, at least please, try to make it kind of something that works with the niche that your shop is otherwise targeting, right? So at least there's some kind of, element of cohesion that way, not just, blasting Christmas, because you're going to sell nothing for the next 10 months a year.
Hello, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
So you don't upload those merry and bright t-shirt designs?
I mean, you can, but you may get sales, but
not saying don't do it, but if you want to sell year round, you got to sell stuff that is, valid.
Right. Merry and Bright's not going to sell in February or right. So.
I've got Tamaz in the chat as well.
Nice.
The man himself.
Yes.
Oh, that's the last name. That's of the Tamaz method.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's the origin. And Steve, I actually had on my channel recently in an interview.
Nice.
He's done amazing. He's kind of like you, Juna. He's got a 9 to 5 and family and everything, but he's grown his sales a lot over the past year.
There you go. That's the way to do it, I think. Is
start
and then
start with a 9 to 5. Yeah. He doesn't want to quit his 9 to 5.
Well, there you go.
That's like Juna.
Yeah, it took a while. It took a while for me to quit, for sure.
You did love what you did with your 9 to 5, though, right? So that's kind of an exception to a rule for a lot of us.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people leave because they want to leave right away. Yeah.
So yeah, anyone who hasn't seen that interview, if you're feeling a bit demotivated, if you just started or in your first year, that interview can be quite inspiring because
that's awesome.
Steve was in the same situation as you like a year ago, and now he's doing really well. But yeah, let's look at some of the questions. Oh no, I forgot one topic. Someone was saying in my survey, they're overwhelmed with all the software. What do you need as a beginner, basically?
Like
the minimum required software, because there's so many, right? So many different YouTube videos.
Yeah.
I feel like you really only need a design tool.
Yeah.
Like that's all you need to start with. You don't need a research tool
and that can be free too. You could find free design tools as well. So
that's the nuts and bolts of it, I think, is, you have to be able to create a design. And if you're talking about Etsy, you can't just buy some of Bailey's designs and slap them on something with Etsy, right? You have to have at least a hand in making them. I can't speak for the, whether or not you sell pieces of designs, right? If you can kind of piece together your own design out of that is totally cool. But you in order to do that, you're going to need some kind of, design capabilities or tool. Other than that, you don't need any of the SEO tools out there. What they do is help you kind of consolidate and, glean data, like specifics from them a lot faster than doing it organically, but you can sell organically as well. But yeah, you're definitely going to need something by way of design tools. So get used to, a Canva, a Kittl. Kittle's probably the one that I think I would have used back in the day if I wasn't already trained on the Adobe suite, because it's giving people the opportunity to kind of design as though they have years of experience.
I feel the same.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts, right? When you're seeing people are churning out, I'm like, my gosh.
Kittl is a subscription, but it's amazing what it can do. Like just the font, the text that it, because they were built with font guys, right? Like
typographers.
That Font Foundry, and so they understand good design, and then on top of that, they get all these good designers to upload templates for them, and you just got some amazing stuff on there. So.
Feels like cheating, right? When you're seeing it,
almost feels like cheating.
I mean, in the best way possible, right? So if you're stuck, try to pick a tool that is going to be the most intuitive for you to use. We're all, as designers here, saying that Kittl is probably the one we would have chosen at the time. So do with that what you will, but it may be a little more involved than maybe like Canva or something like that, or a Photopea is kind of like a slimmed down version of the Adobe suite or Photoshop. There's lots out there, and Photopea is also, I think, free.
Photopea free, yeah.
And then the Affinity stuff is like similar functions of the Illustrator and Photoshop, but it is a one-time payment as opposed to a monthly. So there's lots available out there.
Yeah, there's a lot. And there's lots of free tutorials out there too. Like if you don't know how to use Affinity, you can go and watch somebody that teaches how to use it and learn about it. So.
And I think if you got the overwhelm, set a budget and stick to it for what you're going to spend on tools, right? Just kind of trim the fat.
That's true.
Juna has a lot of Affinity tutorials.
Yeah, I do.
I go to his channel. Have you got any Photopea ones? I've got like 2 or 3, I think.
I got like 2 or 3, yeah. I don't have a full. I should do a full one. A lot of people ask me, can you do a full tutorial for this? I'm like, yeah, it's on the list, but which one do I do first?
Is there any other good free ones? I know there's like free AI tools.
Inkscape's free. It's like the free Illustrator. I haven't used it. I've used it once on a video, but I don't use it regularly. Canva free, of course. I think
can you use that commercially?
Yeah, I hear both sides. Like I think you can. That's what I last heard, but
I think you can if you don't use any of the stuff. I mean, you could throw your own AI things in there, but then if you kept it free, you couldn't download anything correctly.
Yeah, it is free, but you can't do the background remover for free. So you then would have to go and kind of remove the background and all of that stuff. So, and you can't just take a design like a graphic and just use that. You kind of have to. Their thing is you have to kind of put things together in a design. So you'd have to use 2 or 3 different things to make a different overall design. That's not something that's already out there. So.
Whereas Kittl, you could technically use as is. It's not recommended, but
it's not recommended. You don't
really have to make changes. But it's an important distinction, I think, between the two. What about like Tumblr designs? What are like the go-to design tools for that?
Ooh.
Well, since we're only doing AI now, usually the biggest overwhelm we have is which AI tool do you use, because everybody's paying for 3 or 4, 5 sometimes. I'm one of those people. I have 7 that I'm using actively right now.
You win.
And so I just tell them, whatever particular style and niche that you're designing and that you're getting sales in, just choose that one and then stick with that one and learn that one really well, because there's no reason to learn all of these different, tools if you're only using one that is getting you sales and you like making that style. Because they all have their pros and cons. But to design specifically, since my people are not coming to me as background design experience or anything, I recommend Kittl. We've been doing stuff in my designs, and if it had just a few other things, then it would be perfect. So those are my 2 that I do stuff straight out of my designs all the time, and just that's the end of it. And then I have a lovely person in my group now who is handling all of my Photoshop tutorials, and she just started her channel because she knows the tumbler side, and so I can pass the lovely Photoshop stuff to her because I hate it. So that's how it goes.
That's awesome.
She's here. That's Dana's Digital.
Oh, good. I did see that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Here we go. Yeah, I offer Photoshop tutorials. There we go.
There you go.
And I wanted to highlight this comment as well. I was just getting used to Canva. Now I have to learn another tool. You do not have to learn another tool. I think this is an important point to take away from this. It's like, if you already like Canva and you've kind of got used to it, you're good with it, stick to that tool.
Yeah.
Like, I still oftentimes go back to Illustrator because that's the one I'm most proficient with. I might use AI graphics in combination with Illustrator, but it's not like you have to learn all these tools that you see on YouTube.
If it's working, it's working, right? Like, I would only switch if it's not working, but if it's working, then why? I thought the comment was going to be, I got used to Canva and then just changed the whole UI on Canva to make it look, because that's what happened.
There is that too.
Really, have they just completely overhauled it? Or?
Yeah, it still works pretty much the same, but it looks a lot different. It's a lot more white, and some of the tools have moved and all of this stuff. But
But just to reiterate, like what Bailey had just said too, is like, paying for X amount of AI subscriptions, but you find yourself using one or two for the most part, right? You don't have to have all of the things, like especially in Q4. Just stick with what you know for now. Put the blinders on and go to work. Worry about experimenting when you have the sales valleys in January, February, I think.
Did you see in the chat someone tried to get on Amazon 12 times and got denied 12 times?
I'm literally just reading that. I would love to see the content about display.
Well, the nice thing you have now is the Amazon Printify integration, which that opens the gate to absolutely everybody, albeit, you've got that $39.99 monthly fee, but you now are exposed to the largest, global marketplace on the planet, really. Largest
so you don't have to have, you don't have to have a merch account to do it that way?
It's a different account.
It's just Seller Central now. So it's basically fulfilled by merchants. So they've always had fulfilled by Amazon FBA, which is where you would send like a pallet of like thousands of products that they could ship Prime. And then there was Amazon Handmade, and then Amazon FBM, which is fulfilled by merchant, which is essentially with a print on demand fulfilling that for you. It'll just like Etsy kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And the thing I like about it is way more products than Merch by Amazon or Merch on Demand ever has, even though they just added tumblers, but they don't have as many as Printify for sure. And you could do custom stuff too. You talked about this, doing custom things.
Hello Custom.
Hello Custom, yeah. So it's another thing that they don't have yet. So can you imagine being first to market on Amazon with your custom ornaments or whatever? Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
Custom Christmas ornaments.
And in a way that is automated, because if you've ever seen any little element of success with customized products or personalized products, you know that you will at some point dread the influx of orders because it's so friggin' much to manage.
That's why I quit it, honestly.
Yeah.
That was the only reason why I quit it.
It's too much, right?
We were copying, pasting all day to fill it. And it was too much that I was just like, I could never design anything new. And so there was no app at the time. And so I was just like, nope, switched over.
Did you ever try outsourcing it?
I did eventually, but it was still, it was still boring to me, honestly. So.
Okay. Because
I never tried outsourcing because I just didn't trust that I would still want to kind of vet and make sure that there were no typos or anything, right? Because you're talking, thousands of dollars of refunds a month if they get hot. So I didn't want to risk it. Yeah,
perfectionist. Wanted to be right.
Well, you also don't want to refund something for typos in somebody's family name if it's that's a big one.
If they're big orders for sure. That's interesting because I've thought, if that kind of thing gets like really big and you have tons and tons of orders every day, you have to change the text. Do you outsource it? Do you not? That's a tough one. Right. And
the caveat with the Hello Custom is that you only have one, I think, element that you can have customized, right? So if you have like multiple names, so you could do multiple of the same. You could have 3 of the same name, like name. If it's like a grandpa of name as the grandchildren, but you can't have a secondary element like a date or something yet.
But I think he's working on it for Amazon to do multiple.
Because Amazon has like a limitless amount of personalization options, so that's also pretty awesome.
Sweet. Someone just asked a question related to that. I'm new to POD Just sign up to Amazon Seller Central and Printify. I've noticed my listings are labeled as generic. I'm sure they register a brand for sure. If you can do, it would be better to have a brand name on Amazon.
I would. Their brand registry, kind of protects you too, and it kind of adds as another filter, another layer of security for anything that you have in your brand too, especially if it's a trademark brand that you register, because they won't allow people to upload stuff, especially on Merch by Amazon, for example. You try to upload anything that is trademarked, you'll get an automatic rejection, or it'll go under review and then you'll get rejected. There are cases where you can kind of say that, you're not using it as a brand, whatnot, but at least to be able to protect yourself on, the biggest marketplace out there, I think, it's a smart thing to do. You can, contrary to popular belief, you can absolutely build a brand on a marketplace, I believe.
Yeah.
I would. That's a good call.
Someone was saying here, ideogram works best for me. Interestingly enough, Flux totally sucks for me. And that's a good example again to show like it's whatever you like best. Because in some cases, I like Flux better than ideogram.
Yeah.
In some cases,
they both do text pretty well, right?
Yeah. Just the style of the graphics is quite different, I would say.
Yeah. I was trying some text on ChatGPT today with StickerWiz, and it was not getting it. I had to keep trying, like, come on, I thought we passed this where we can do text now. But
I'll give Kittle a shout out on the AI tip. I was doing a video that should be dropping tomorrow or the next day, but they have a new sets element now. So you can have like 4 images created, 4 generations in the same kind of style. So nice. How if you had a really cool dog and now you wanted a cat to look the same, trying to replicate that style with the next one generation isn't going to work, right? This put all 4. I did a Santa Claus, a Mrs. Claus, a reindeer, and something else I forget. But it did them all, and it looked like they were created by the same artist, which is
really cool. That's
awesome.
But then what I was going to say was the text thing. So I asked for like a Christmas themed background to do one of the, the wraps on the glass, the sipper cups there. And it actually spit out one that said Merry Christmas on it. And everything was done perfectly and it looked really good. So surprised. I didn't know that it would spit out text, but another tick box for Kittle getting better at an exponential rate, I think too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Everybody's keeps getting better.
They do.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
What's your favorite, Bailey, out of all the 50 subscriptions you have?
Yeah, testing them all out.
My designs right now, because they're all 3 in there that I use. So Dolly's in there, Ideogram, and Flux is in there. It just makes my life easy just to do it all in one, because that's what the group is for. And so I did have them all separate, like Ideogram separate and Dolly separate, and Kittle will always be separate. But and then I still have to go back to Midjourney every day, and I hate it because I want to be away from it, but sometimes I can't get that result in, and I've tried to get it in the other ones, and there's just something about it. So yeah, those are the 4 I'm in the most.
And My Designs actually has quite a new feature now, or quite a unique feature, which I don't think anyone else has got yet, where you can literally generate like 10, 20, 30 prompts at once. Have you tried that yet?
Yes.
No?
That's awesome.
All at once. Yeah. That, and then using the My Designs GPT, I don't know if this is what you're talking about, to like change the prompt and then go in there and do it all at once. I was just like, oh, wow. Now that probably really is my favorite now. There's no getting around that. Midjourney can kind of do stuff like that, but all at once.
It's kind of like that Kittle sets feature. I've just tested it.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. You can have the different prompts in the same style.
But My Designs kind of has it on steroids. I think you limit it to 6 with Kittle. Mm-hmm. My Designs, you could give it a base prompt and tell it, use this prompt, but scale it out to like 30 different topics.
Wow.
That's cool.
And it retains the same style, but it changes the topic accordingly and makes all the graphics look different. And you can generate them all at the same time. It's like if you want to be fast with either Flux, Ideogram, or DALL-E 3, that is the most efficient way.
But what
parallel
about I
prompts
wanted
that
to
have-
do it for all three? I wanted to do it for Dolly, Flux, and
Yeah.
Ideogram, all of them. Then I would be done with my work for the day in like 5 minutes because
go.
So
I'd
what
have
you're
them
saying
all.
is you're really impatient.
Yes.
That'll be an
Um,
upgrade and very soon, probably the way things are
I
going.
don't doubt that there will be some overarching kind of app that'll allow you to leverage all of the design AIs in time. I don't think we're far away from that. It's just a matter of the proprietary rights, right?
Right.
Is it still a small size though? Because that's what I'm waiting for is an AI to make it the right size, knock out the background, and you're just ready to put it on.
Upscaled,
Yeah,
full
upscaled
times,
and everything,
yeah.
right? Yeah. So
Yeah, it's still all like 1,000 pixels, isn't it? Which is annoying. And
Yeah,
I see a lot of comments as well, people saying, when will it finally have transparent backgrounds?
right, yeah,
That would
that
be
we need it to upscale or vectorize and have
Yeah.
a transparent background and just be a PNG ready to go on products, and that's the next level.
I just saw a few My Designs comments here. I was concerned about My Designs because they're a fulfillment company. I don't want to go through the trouble of testing them. You don't need to use them for fulfillment necessarily.
nice.
Like they have a ton of different features.
You can
Or
just
you can use
it
the
for
AI stuff without even having a subscription. Like you don't need to be
Really?
subscribed. You just need to get credits, right? That's
Oh,
the
right.
thing. But
You still
it's
got
like
to
a
buy
pay as you go thing. But yeah, you don't need to use their products. You could even list stuff through My Designs and still have it fulfilled with Printify if you wanted to. It's all possible. Have you used Playground AI? I actually tested it for the first time a few days ago, and it's pretty good. You can use it for free for like I don't know, like a 30 or 50 prompts a day, something like that.
Did you make a video for it yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
You taking notes too, eh?
Taking notes. Watch
You want to
Phillips.
be first?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've recorded one, but it's not going to go live for 2 weeks. If you want
I got 2 weeks.
get it out
Okay.
first. Yeah,
Got 2 weeks.
No, I'm joking for that.
And the parallel prompts thing, I've got a video
Yeah.
for that tomorrow.
Wow.
That's
You're busy.
that
man.
is an interesting topic for anyone who uses My Designs or who just wants to be faster. Right, let's look at some of the questions I saved earlier. Oh, right, bit of shift of topics. Is it still worth to start merch on demand in 2024? Is it too saturated? Here we go, the age-old question.
Yeah.
What do we think?
I think people always ask this because it sounds like they want the money right now. They want to make sure that they make money in 2024. I think what you showed me is someone just started like 2 years ago and they ramped up really fast. And I think it takes years to ramp up. And people who want to start right now, yes, you can start right now, but don't expect big gains until 2-3 years from now, right? And then 2 to 3 years from now, when you're making lots of money, people are going to ask you, is it okay to start merch on demand right now? Right? So
yeah, this is a repeating question and pattern that was already around when I started in 2018, 2019. It's still the same. The guy that Juna was referring to, he's in my Discord server. I just interviewed him. Amazon merch seller since 2020. He basically got no sales in his first 2 years. And then 2022, it blew up. He's like really high tier seller now, getting more sales than me and Juna as a little heads up. So that just shows, that's one example of many, right? The interview I was referring to before with Steve. Steve started in 2022, I think, where again, most people would have said it's too saturated. Yet with a 9-to-5 and a family, he still managed to now generate a decent passive income stream. So is it tougher? Yeah, I would say it's tougher than it was like 5 years ago. But is it impossible? No, for sure not.
Is it tougher? Arguably, I would even say, I wouldn't say absolutely, because it depends on how fast you get proficient with some of the AI tools out there, right? Like they're leveling the playing field almost as fast as the saturation level is there.
We didn't have those when we started. That's a good point.
No, man, that's what I mean, right? When I hear people afraid it oversaturated, don't do it, don't sell t-shirts. I'm like, well, everyone's always going to need a t-shirt. And when I hear it's oversaturated, I just hear that you're afraid of competition. Like it's the same people that look for only micro niches without kind of at least zooming out a little bit. Yeah, I think, it's always that's been a question for the 12 years I've been on Etsy, right? Like, oh, it's too saturated. There's too many t-shirt sellers. Well, if I didn't start 12 years ago, I wouldn't be here. The people that didn't start 3 years ago wouldn't be making, the gains that Philip was just saying, right? Like we all started when we started, and the only thing we probably all have in common is that had we known the potential, we would have started earlier.
Yeah.
And
one more thing, there's always new things that are going to come up, new trends and new just pop culture things in general that nobody knows about until it happens. And so everybody has the same shot at getting sales for those, right? If you're on it. So
even new evergreen niches.
Even
things,
new evergreen.
Things change with time. If you look at the trend graph for pickleball, for example, no one cared about that in like 2021, 2022.
2 years ago.
Before then, even before Rona, no one really played that game, but now it's super popular. I had my first game of pickleball actually in the US. It doesn't really exist here yet in Europe, sadly. But no, it was really fun. I can see why people like it. And I do sell quite a few pickleball shirts. And yeah, like that niche has been established for a couple of years now, but it's an example to show like there's new evergreen niches appearing as well. It's not just trends like politics.
Right. And even politics, that's going to change too, right? There's going to be new candidates and new all of that in the future. So
there's an example.
Bruh, that wasn't popular 5 years ago. Yeah. Exactly.
And that kind of gives you a new angle to every single evergreen niche out there. Because how many bra designs have you seen for different niches? Like it works for almost everything. I don't know why, but
it's funny.
It works. What else? So
yeah, loaded question, but it's the same answer, right? It's never too late and always a good time to start.
Yeah, it's better to start than to keep worrying about what's the lowest competition thing to start.
Correct. Yeah, it's better to start now than wait 5 years from now and say, I should have started 5 years ago.
Do you all have Facebook pages for your Etsy, Amazon store that you share all of your links with around the web, or do you run Facebook ads too?
I have a Facebook group, but not a Facebook page that I do have a Facebook page that I don't usually use it for that. Just post my stuff on there.
I do have a large Facebook group, but it operates for a different purpose. So I use Etsy as my top of funnel. Then they go eventually into my group or email list, and then they go to my own membership site because the end goal is to get them as a recurring member for my designs. So I don't really push them back to Etsy unless they're just the people who are like, I'm never going to buy a subscription. So then they can go back to the Etsy store and buy it individually. But yeah, we do have a big Facebook group, but no ads.
Okay. I don't do either. It's tough to build a Facebook page, right? It takes a lot of effort. And it would be nice if you could just share all of your links and get sales, but there's a lot more to it.
That, yeah.
Can it be done? Yeah, for sure. But it's a lot of effort. Facebook ads, probably tested them, but never really had success with them. Never spent much time on actually learning it. What about you, Jay?
I'm kind of in between all of you. I have dedicated Facebook pages for specific niched Etsy shops.
Nice.
I don't run Facebook ads to them because I've historically just would have run the ads to a Shopify, but with the share and save link, so Etsy, takes that 6.5% down to 2.5%. Might be worth revisiting now. I just haven't run Facebook ads for a long time now, and I should, look at that again. But then I also have a Facebook group that is for helping educate with POD. That I use that, build the email list, and then for my membership ultimately that way. So, using social media is a massive tool that I think allows us to target people in different ways. And even if you're only, talking about from the Etsy or Amazon perspective, then yeah, having a page or a group, where the group is nice because you can allow people to just post their own stuff and they feel like there's like this exclusivity element, right? Like you would see Juna in your group that way. The pages is more like user operated, right? So you're just kind of putting stuff out there. But they can both, nothing in social media is going to be a bad option. It's just whether or not you have the time or the bandwidth to kind of do it all. Really, like, is your time better spent creating more designs, or is your time better spent marketing the existing, right? Depending on where I guess, to Bailey's point, where in the funnel you're at, or where that potential client is.
Yeah. I would say social media in general is more for building an audience instead of advertising. I mean, you can advertise on your, like, for instance, Instagram. It's great for building your audience and getting more followers and all like that. But if you build it just to advertise, I don't think you're going to get a lot of followers, because people will know that, this person, I don't want to follow him. All he says is, this is my new thing, buy. And nobody wants to follow that. But if you have actually some value to bring to an audience and teach them something, or show them something funny, or entertain them in some way, I think that's great for social media, and that will help you build an audience. And then in turn, you can start sharing your stuff, and people might want to buy your stuff. So that's why it takes so long. You can't just go on there right away and just buy my stuff.
And I'll just say, like, if you're a brand new seller, to that point, to Juna's point about it, taking time. If you're a brand new seller, worry about making quality designs before you worry about building all the marketing channels and the social media channels. I think, be conscious when you're creating stuff. So buy the domain name, create an email address to go with it, so you don't look like you're, at Hotmail or at Gmail. You look somewhat professional when you're ready to, pull a trigger or do something to that effect. But try to, do everything with intention, but focus on creating listings and building out your shop or your store, before. So, because, like, driving traffic to a shop that has maybe 20 designs isn't going to do it unless they're all serious bangers, right?
Right. Here we've got a question about font size, which is interesting. What is the best size font for a T? And what design software would you suggest for a beginner? So we kind of covered a lot about the design software about 20 minutes ago. But
it really depends on the font, because you could have a 20-point font for one font that looks this big, and a 20-point font for another font that looks this big. I would say on the thumbnail, on your mock-up, if someone can't read your shirt and you have the text there for them to read, then it's too small. So if it's hard to read, or it's too small to read from the mock-up when you're scrolling through, then your text is probably too small.
I never look at the font size. It's just about, is it easy to read? Are the right words highlighted? I guess that's another thing.
Yep.
Like, if you've got differences in size within your quote, if it's a dog design, if it's a specific dog breed, then the name of the breed should probably be the biggest.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. About you, Jay, you're quite design minded. What would you say?
Same thing. I don't look at the point size at all. It's really whatever ultimately fills the space that I want it to look aesthetically pleasing and be obnoxious in the search results ultimately. And to Juna's point, like, any font you use, the point size is kind of moot, because depending on the style of font, you'll see, like, you could have a 20-point font that the letters are a half inch tall at 300 dpi, and then you could have some that are massive, right? So and it doesn't always take into account glyphs also. So whatever looks as big and bold as you can possibly do, I would argue, on the marketplaces anyway.
Ooh, here's an interesting one. Do you think that people who don't use AI can still be successful?
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think we're all in unison. I mean, there is a lot of AI tools which make things kind of easier and faster, but they're not a necessity. Like, going back to an earlier point, if you're really proficient in Illustrator, it might be a lot better for you to create designs that way than going through AI and having like little details misspelled or off, and then having to regenerate.
I would suggest that if you're not going to use AI and you have zero design skills or at all, at least invest in yourself to, kind of acquire some kind of design skills or ability, right? They'd be transferable to, if you want to end up creating just designs to sell designs or products. But, at least knowing the basics of graphic design, I think, will help immensely.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think having that design eye is important. Like, you need to know what looks good and what should sell. You don't necessarily have to be able to do it yourself, but you you definitely need to know what kinds of things look good on a t-shirt, or what kind of things people want to buy when they're looking for a product, that kind of stuff. So
wait, what have we got next? Is the Kamala Harris niche safe? Should be. Again, it depends. I feel like every question is the same, or every answer is the same. It depends. Technically, yeah, you can sell Kamala Harris and Trump designs, and that is actually confirmed by your lawyer, Jay.
Yeah.
A trademark and copyright lawyer. So selling their names or their likeliness is okay, but there are limitations. For example, you can't just use any photo that you find of,
right, because that might be copyrighted.
Yeah.
From the photographer or the news site or whatever. Yeah.
Like the famous Trump photo,
Yeah.
when he was getting shot at, that is not okay to use in a shirt.
Right.
And then we've got the content policy, right, of whichever marketplace you sell on. Does your design adhere to that policy? Because on Amazon, like, they are quite strict with inciting hatred, for example, and that's a very gray area. But if your political designs, including Kamala or Trump, if they're kind of too offensive or too aggressive, I guess, then it might be an issue. But something like cat ladies for Kamala, or like a quote that she said, yeah, probably fine.
I think one other thing that I missed last time was, like, Trump and Kamala have their own apparel and logos and things like that. So if you go to their sites and see their designs and copy their designs, you can't do that, because those are copyrighted, just like everybody else's. You can't copy anybody else's designs, but if you make your own, then that's fine.
Yeah, and Trump also has his own IP when it comes to like his towers and other business ventures. So you got to make sure that you're checking, trademarks in specific classes too. Yeah, I'd be very careful. But I mean, they're all historically, they've all been fair game, at least until, as candidates, at least until a POTUS is elected, and then you can only from then forth use the acting POTUS. So right now, even Biden would still be fair game, but with Kamala and Trump being the two in the forefront, those are the only two you're really going to try to target to make money. But once the election's over, you'd only be able to do with whoever's elected.
Yeah, but it's a good question, because usually celebrities or like big names, they're usually like off the, what do you say? They're usually not allowed, right? But with politicians, especially if they're running for president, that seems to be fine. And you have to think of it from their point of view as well. Like if Trump says a funny quote, like they're eating the dogs thing, why would Trump go after people trying to sell that quote? Like, there's no reason for him to do that. So it would only be the marketplace that has something against it. So unless you're using like Trump logos or official merch, or Kamala Harris, same thing there, should be fine.
But on that note, Phil, like Philip said, he's got a video with my lawyer, and so do I. You can go watch those, and I'm sure there's lots to glean there, some good intel, especially POD related. Yeah,
we did. Well, I don't know about your interview, but we did speak about politicians specifically as well. That's some good content to watch for sure if you're worried about niches being safe. What products do you run ads on, excluding shirts?
Excluding t-shirts.
A few tumblers. One thing actually that I forgot to say about the Q4 tips: start some ad campaigns for hoodies, right?
Hoodies.
Or zippers, because they barely sell throughout summer, but in winter they get quite an uptick in sales. And the ad campaigns, if you think about it, on a hoodie, it's easier to get like a $6-7 royalty per sale.
It is.
So you can get a lot of clicks before that becomes unprofitable. So that's one worth testing. I'm definitely running some hoodie like lottery campaigns, and then like 1 or 2 manual campaigns just targeting one ASIN, and they're doing good. So what about you guys and girls?
I don't run any ads anymore. Used to a lot, but no, I don't put out enough volume with the digital. You have to be keeping up and have a certain amount for them to make sense on that price point. And so we don't anymore, but yeah, we used to a lot.
I'm curious, did you have more success with the ads on like individual designs for tumblers, or was it more so like big bundles?
So I just actually shared the differences, pros and cons of being one of those whole shop bundle shops, because there is a way to do that very profitably. I don't, because I don't want them to buy the whole shop and not ever come back when I have, 5,000 designs that they could keep coming back for. I do have several bundles though that are specifically built for like the 50 US states, or like the birth flower months or something like that, that are very niche specific. And those perform very well. What we saw when we used to run ads, and we ran about $200 a day. And what we would notice is someone would come in on an ad for, say, I don't know, something, a grumpy cat or something. And then they would literally go and probably purchase 10 to 15 other related cat things that I had, because they were all so similar in style. And that's what I teach now, that if you are going to run ads, like, just make sure that your shop is filled out with related designs, so that if they come in on one of those ads, because our points are so low, they have to be able to purchase other things. And the people who do that are successful with it. So it works. You just have to have a large shop to be able to do that with digital.
That's nice.
Okay. Interesting. Did you ever sell digital on Etsy, Jay?
Yeah, I have a small digital shop. It was POD designs that I started like 5 or 6 years ago. I think I have maybe 50 or 60, maybe 75 actually items in it. They still sell kind of. It's all Evergreen design, so that's a testament to Evergreen again. They still continue to sell. This was before the prominence of AI. So looking back, like, those were designed once upon a time. I am going to be using. It just makes no sense not to list some of the stuff that AI churns out, right? And on Etsy, you're allowed to list it. They've said that, like, in the most recent event they had or call they had. So as of a few weeks ago, it's totally fair game. So it makes sense if you're going to generate something and put it on a POD product to sell. I wouldn't sell that in my digital download shop, but I would sell the other 3 or 4 generations or iterations of that same design. Probably. Why not? Right.
Nice.
It's just a matter of taking the time to do it. What's that, Juna?
Do you have to put something on there that this was made by AI or something like that on Etsy?
There has to be something, a disclaimer somewhere at bare minimum in the description.
In the description. Okay. Yep. Yeah, I was thinking about that too.
Which is fine. Most people know. Right?
Yeah.
Most people just don't know how to leverage AI to get the results they want. So it's not
really cool.
It's not a make or break thing. Yeah.
Gotta try it.
Yeah, especially with the amount of AI options you're using.
I do AI all day, every day. So I should probably sell those at some point or something. So
yeah, it's worth trying. Have you tried Adobe Firefly in Illustrator? Oh, that's an Illustrator now.
I haven't tried it.
I haven't either. I remember trying Firefly like a year ago when it came out initially, and it did have some cool features, but I'm sure it's changed a ton since then.
I have tried the generative fill in Photoshop a couple of times, like different options of that, and it's pretty cool.
That's pretty
that
cool.
That was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Use it all the time for thumbnails and stuff like that now.
That's how I was doing it for too. Yeah. It's funny, right?
Don't know if it's useful for POD designs, but I'm sure there's probably applications for it. Changed a lot of it, but Firefly, there's too many AI tools, isn't there?
There is.
Right.
How bad am I glitching, guys? I feel like I'm
not at all. I don't see it.
You look fine on iStream.
Perfect.
Sometimes it looks different on the actual live feed, but
no,
that actually looks fine on the live as well. What have we got here? I wanted to get into PD. You don't even know where to start.
Start watching some videos. Do some research first and watch some video.
Yeah, I mean, shameless plug for Philip, Juna, and myself. I don't know if Bailey has any POD actual, experience or anything like that, so I can't speak to that. But I know the rest of us, and we all have, if not, I'm sure we all have free courses on how to start. So like, go there. If not one of us, and you don't resonate with any of the 4 you see on the screen here, then just Google it or YouTube it. There's a ton of free intel on where to start and how to get going.
Yeah, and I would pick one market, like either at Etsy or Shopify or even Amazon or TeePublic, whatever you want to pick, but don't try and do 10 at the same time. You're going to burn yourself out and stuff. So pick one.
Yeah. To piggyback on that, I would say pick 1 or 2 YouTubers at most also, because everybody's, you're going to get kind of this ugly scrapbook I talk about, as opposed to like a beautiful collage when you're trying to pick pieces from everybody else's kind of system. And then pick 1 niche or 2 tops, and then pick 1 product, and then put your nose to the grindstone designing to perfect that one thing before you try to design for a bunch of different things. Like even when it comes down to, probably Bailey can speak to this too, when you're trying to design or create designs for multiple products, you get in this headspace churning out tumblers. It's a completely different prompt potentially for even aspect ratios and different things you got to put in for a different product, right? So to be
100%,
focus is clutch.
And only choose 1 or 2 tools. Don't choose them all.
That too. Yeah.
What I would say is try and apply for Amazon merch as soon as possible, because that's one of the tougher ones to get into, and the sooner you apply, the better. And then whilst you're waiting though to get accepted, start on one platform somewhere else. Etsy is one of the other ones that's high potential. Juna taking notes again.
Yeah, sorry. I saw somebody say join Bailey's DFY design and SEO group. So I'm like, okay.
I don't know. You have, if you're doing as much AI as me, you can go in there and be like, my prompts are better.
I don't think my prompts are better. Mine's really simple. I do the really simple prompts.
Worst case, I'm seeing potential collaboration opportunities, right? So
yes.
What's the best site to create images with Flux Pro, free or paid? I know Glyph has it for free. I don't really know if there's any other free options. I've never seen any. In terms of paid, there is some people suggested stuff in my survey. I forgot what it's called, but there is some like paid services where you can get access to Flux Pro that seem fairly affordable. The only other place I know off the top of my head is My Designs, where it's built into Dream AI and it's credit based.
I did a shorts that if you go on Instagram and then go through Meta and do the AI through Meta. So if you already have all of that, I don't know if it's, I think it's free if you have all of that. But it does use Flux Pro, I believe. So I don't know. It's not that intuitive to find it, because I had to, and I think it was only on desktop, so I couldn't find it on my phone when I tried looking it on my phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did it work for shirt designs though?
I mean, same. It's still it looks good, but it's still 1024 by 1024, and you gotta knock out the background and all that stuff. But it looked pretty good. Looks like a glyph, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Did you test it for a while? Was there a limit to it?
I didn't see what the limit was. I did a couple. So
Instagram backdoor to Flux Pro.
Yeah, it's an Instagram backdoor.
We're trying it. If you've run out of your Glyph daily uses.
Yeah, try it out. If anybody else has tried it out, let me know. But I did a little shorts on it, and wow, I didn't know this is cool.
Ooh, also there's with Glyph, you can get you can try and apply to the creator pass to get more daily credits.
Oh, cool.
I'll find the FAQ page for it, because they have a page that explains how to apply for it. And if you can get that creator pass thingy, you can I think you can do 200 a day then.
Whoa.
So I'll put the link to the FAQ thing in there.
When people say how many AI stuff they make a day, I'm like, I feel like I'm slacking. I only do 3 or 4, maybe 10, but 200, that's amazing.
I'm like
I
three or four. I'm like 3 or 4 a week, buddy. Don't even sweat it.
Yeah, Jay, I thought you were like 3 a month, three
Yeah,
a week.
that's probably more accurate. 1 to 2 a week tops. Yeah.
I think with Glaive and Flux, it's like, you know, when people don't get it right the first time and they regenerate, and then it's like, you know, all the credits are gone and you've only got 1 or 2 designs out of it. That's when people get annoyed.
Yeah.
Right, but hopefully some of you can, if you want to keep using it for free, can benefit from that.
That's awesome.
Creative path thingy. I've got a question for Jay.
Ooh.
What are the criteria in terms of BSR for you to be confident to enter in with new designs, knowing that they will sell, considering that you only upload a few per month? That's a good question.
BSR to me is an indicator of what is currently working. So even if something though has like 1 million BSR, it just means, for those of you who don't know, it's an acronym for bestsellers rank, and it's based on, it's an organic kind of number that is continually, you know,
Amazon,
moving, right?
right? Amazon.
Yeah, on Amazon. Sorry. And just because a design has a 1 million BSR, which would mean, you know, the lower number the better, means it's selling, you know, it's where you're ranked. So if you have like a BSR of 1,000, you're in the top 1,000 products for that category. So you're selling a significant amount. If you're in 1 million, you know, it has sold, so there's a sales record there, but you're just not selling a lot. But just because it's got 1 million doesn't mean it wasn't an awesome idea or a brilliant idea. It just may not have been executed properly. It may have just be a poopy design. That was a close one. I just teared myself down there. It may just be a not so great design. Yeah, so it doesn't mean that it wasn't a brilliant idea. You know, just the execution could be the biggest miss, the biggest single miss. And we see, conversely, some amazing designs on Etsy, but the mock-up might not be what is delivering, right? It's the whole package that has to you know, kind of resonate. Do I stay away for, like, if something's got 1,000 BSR, I'll go after it. If something's got 1 million BSR, but I think I can do an amazing job at it, I'll go after it. I don't shy away from competition. Like, my top 3 niches I've said to you guys before are like tacos, cats, and birthdays, right? Like I go big. There's room for everybody to play. There's money for everyone to make. And you know, it's not about, for me, you know, and that's why my channel is called Jay's Way and not the only way again. But for me, it's, doesn't matter how big or how much competition is there. I look at competition as opportunity. If there's a number of, you know, listings in a certain niche, that means there's demand is validated. It means people want it and people are buying it and people are paying for it, right? So why wouldn't you want to try to at least get a piece of that? Micro niching to me, just potentially sometimes I think people focus way too much on the, you know, the smaller niches with the lower competition number, and then they forget about the demand aspect. So sometimes there's just not enough demand there. I go big or go home for me, man. Testament, right? I mean, only in tier 8,000, I got 1,600 listings, and you still make 6 figures in royalties.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a really good ratio. Yeah, demand definitely has to be there if you're going after smaller niches. I think that there's definitely a point to falling into the trap of only looking at competition, not demand. But I get it. Like, I think the benefit to the lower competition niches is easier to get organic sales. So anyone who's in the lower tiers who doesn't have access to ads or who doesn't want to spend a lot on ads, it is tougher in those big niches with a lot of search results. It can work for sure, but not everyone's a gifted designer who can create 3 things a month and then they sell really well. So I think there's pros and cons to both for sure.
Yeah. I would absolutely make sure you verify that there's demand at least, though. That's all, right? Ultimately,
no, definitely. There is a lot of like low competition niches where there's like no demand at all, and those you should definitely ignore or discard. It's tough to find the ones that have decent demand and low competition. But if you have access to ads, definitely try and move into some of the higher competition ones as well. Try the Tamaz method. He was here earlier.
Yeah,
in the chat. That's a good way to do it.
That is a good point. I've got 4 that I tried with his. 2 have completely tanked, and 2 are starting to do well. I'm on the 2 that I turned off after 30 days. The next 2 were coming up in about 2 weeks to the 60-day mark, and they have translated into some good sales. And we all know that, like, you know, when you're running ads on something, it's not just about breaking even on the ad. You can take a loss there because you're also gaining the organic momentum from that sales and, you know, potentially to your brand or your shop, right?
Yeah, I'm doing.
Go home.
I'm
See,
running.
Tomas is in the same boat that way, right? He goes broad with his one single keyword. Yeah.
That's his mantra. Yeah. Also, anyone who knows the Tomas method, try it with. If you've got any Halloween designs that I've sold before, or that maybe sold well last year, try it with those. Like Juna, you've got tons, haven't you? I think that you sell for Halloween. Try the Tomas method. I started running a Tomas campaign for one of my Halloween bestsellers, and it's selling a lot already.
I got to do it. Hopefully, it's not too late.
It's worth trying. It's not very profitable yet because it's priced low at the moment to get the BSR back down.
Yeah.
But a week from now, probably change that. But yeah, let's see what else have we got in terms of questions. Do you think that somehow POD is taking over your life when you're in the industry, opposed to a 9-to-5? Would you leave and you don't think about anymore? I don't really get the last part of that question, but
that's a good question. And for me, absolutely. Like, you know, it's not just
what we do now.
It's not just designing and listing on Etsy anymore. It's Amazon merch. It's Amazon Printify integration. It's talking about it. It's educating people. It's having memberships. It's coaching. It's doing all the things that we do for free, in addition to other avenues to that we use as revenue streams. Right? It's absolutely taken over my entire life.
Yeah,
which is why I had to stop the 9-to-5, because it's just there was so much to do that I needed more time to do it. So yeah.
But I will say that I've chosen this path, so it's different, right? I enjoy what I do. There's nothing better than helping people get some wins under the belt too that have zero experience. So that's always awesome. And if you've never, you know, something we get asked a lot, right? To people that YouTube and coach and stuff, like, well, if you're doing so good at print on demand, then how do you have time to do this and that or whatever? It's like, we make the time, but we also like, I think, genuinely helping people achieve more or get more out of life on their own terms. And part of that is being able to do it remotely, you know, at home, in between, you know, what Carla would say is like working in the margins, like when you have time available to you, making the most of that time and doing it in a way that you can potentially get some financial goals or wins. And then hopefully you can get your, you know, 1 foot out of that 9-to-5 that has that grip on you if you're not happy there. I think it's safe to say the four of us here just want to see as many people win as possible. I know I do.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what
that's one of the most fun aspects, is if you see someone do well who you've kind of been helping for a while, or you've seen in your comments for a long time, and they say like now they're getting a lot of sales, that's amazing. And if they feel like you've helped them on that journey, like I'm sure most people watch loads of different YouTubers and it's a combination of knowledge and tips, but if you've been a part of that, that's fun. That's really motivating to do more content as well.
It's so fulfilling in a way that I didn't know was even a thing, right? So.
Yeah. One of the reasons I wanted to do it is because for me, and I know for everybody else, the cost of living is just going up and up and up. And there's like just having a 9-to-5, at least my 9-to-5 was just like, I didn't get a lot of raises, and the cost of living just like hit the 9-to-5 where I should have been getting a raise to match, but I wasn't. And so I needed to do something extra. And I think a lot of people are in that boat. And so that's why I did it. Like, guys, this is the way I did it. I think this is kind of the only way to do it. If you want more income because the cost of living is going out of control, then get more money, because you kind of need that. So you
can only save so much, but you can always make more money.
Exactly. Yeah.
You counteract some of that inflation and all the high prices, you know.
I know.
Even if you can just pay some of your bills, you don't have to be making 6 figures in a year. You know, if you can pay your rent through digital downloads or through Amazon Merchant Demand, that's already.
But just waiting for raises at your 9-to-5 at least wasn't working for me. So, like,
you can make more than the 7 or 8% inflation rate that is going up every year, right? If you're not getting a raise at that pace, you're effectively taking a pay cut every single year.
Yeah.
So don't think of it and try to make 6 extra figures. Try to just beat that, that inflation level.
Exactly.
What about you, Bailey? Has POD taken over your life in that sense?
Not POD, because I left POD.
Fair.
That's right.
Tumblers,
um,
tumblers all day.
Well, you're
yes.
still in the industry, right? Like you're
I mean,
creating
I
stuff for
am.
sellers.
Oh,
And you know what? I always get tempted to like go to my other Etsy shop and start it again, because I'll see things and I'm just like, oh, I could be doing it again, but this side is totally taken over. I never thought I'd be on YouTube. I fought with that for like a year and a half to get on YouTube. But I mean, it's super, super fulfilling to be able to help people in a way that, it helped. I never thought I'd be selling tumbler designs to make it where I am on Etsy of all things, and here I am teaching on YouTube, and it's crazy. But yeah, I mean, and now with the tools too, I just really, really think that, especially with AI, anybody can walk in, and if you just take a little bit of time, and I mean, there is so much free information out there. There's so many different ways to make money online. You don't have to do POD. You don't have to do digital designs. There are a million ways to make money online. And the knowledge is out there and the information is out there. So yeah, it's crazy circle.
Yeah.
Was there a wish of yours that you were able to fulfill with the help of the POD business?
I love these
Can you
kinds
give
of
an example?
questions.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Traveling. I never got to travel as much. This is going to that Printify conference was the first time I've been to Europe. So I've never been up across the Atlantic Ocean before, and so being able
How did
to
you find it?
It was great. Love it. Yeah, I want to go back to Europe again. Yeah.
Did it feel really different to the US?
In some parts, yes. Some parts, no. The buildings and the cobblestone and the different languages in the street and everything were different. But they had Burger King and H&M and other malls and things like that, which made it feel real familiar. And
Yeah.
they spoke a different language, but they also, in Latvia, most people spoke English, so the language barrier wasn't that bad either. So yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's the benefit of, I think, a lot of European countries, that most of them speak English to you. But yeah,
and Apple
McDonald's is
Pay.
everywhere.
Apple Pay was really easy. I just paid everything with it instead of cash or having to convert to euros or whatever. Just beep, and that was easy. We live in a great time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Has anyone else got examples?
Mine's kind of similar to Juna's. Last year, we got to go to Paris, and as a result of everything, and that was the first time going to Europe, and that was crazy. I mean, it was scary, but it was so fun. Yeah. So just being able to travel a lot now. We travel all the time now, because we have the funds and the schedule, the time, Yeah. So, and we got to move to Florida, which, I mean, I'd never wanted to be cold again. So I got to move to Florida.
Where were you before?
Colorado.
Oh yeah, that's cold.
Okay.
Yeah. I never want to see snow again.
That's where we're at. We're in Utah, so it's really close, but it's so cold.
That's why we left Ontario, Canada, and came down to Belize.
That must have been even colder.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we're here. I didn't realize how hot it would be consistently here, but it still beats, when you talk in terms of winter in North America, like traditionally, at least halfway up the States and more north, you think of 4 seasons, right? So you think summer, fall, winter, and then spring again. But really, it's kind of like a not so cold winter, and then not so cold winter. It's like 6 months of gray and wet sky, like gray skies and wet. It's sloppy, the thaw, the freeze. It's just unpleasant. And yeah, we were just so over it. But yeah, for me too, it's the travel, man. Like to be able to go somewhere and not have to submit a request for 2 or 3 weeks off to a boss who I'm perpetually filling their pockets, to not have to answer to anybody, to be able to take the breaks when I want, bring my wife and our dog in this case, but like our first big one was 30 days in Costa Rica. And I'm like, this is crazy. We're opening my laptop. We're bulk processing Etsy orders on our own shops from like, I don't know, 6 to 7. We're having a coffee. From 7 to 9, we're processing orders. And then by 9 o'clock, our workday is done. We've made enough money that day to sustain the next day and a half. So we're coming home with more money than we left. Kind of mind blowing. And just to be able to do it surrounded by like jungle and toucans and, you know, crazy things, right? To me. And it just kind of like sparked, you know, a kind of fire inside us that we just want to see more of the world. And to not have to sacrifice money to do it is huge.
Where are you going to next?
We're contemplating Mexico right now, actually, in the next 6 months or so.
Visit Mike.
Yeah, actually, yeah, we're thinking of Puerto Vallarta, where he is. So one thing we noticed about Costa Rica versus Belize is very flat unless you're in the mountains on the mainland, but on the islands where we thought we would do a lot more of the snorkeling and stuff, because we're right on the Mesoamerican Barrier Reef, which is absolutely beautiful and amazing for snorkeling. But we aren't doing it as much as we thought we would. So you need to either have a boat or do it. You're like with somebody who's got a boat, or you're paying the tour guides to do it. And, you know, between $70 and $100 a pop, it's not something you're doing every day. It adds up, right? And so that sense, we also realize that we really like where the mountain kind of meets the ocean. So think of like the Hawaiian topography, the Costa Rican topography, and it's the same mountain range as Costa Rica, just a little more north. And Puerto Vallarta has that. You can be in the mountains and be like an 8 to 10 block walk to the beach at the same time. So yeah, interesting, but that's just only because while we still have our Great Dane, he is cumbersome to travel with, so we can get there by land and we can't fly anywhere, right? So we drove from Ontario through the States, through Mexico to Belize. Now we might be trying Mexico, it looks like. But once he's no longer a part of our family, then it'd be great to just slap on a backpack and head back to Europe. Because like Juna, my first time in Europe was at the Printify conference last year. But now I just want to see more of that too. I get excited by where I can visit now, right? So
it definitely gives you a lot of freedom, because you can take your work with you, right? You don't have to ask for time off. That is a massive benefit for sure. I'm very thankful that I was able to go to Florida as well recently to visit Adam. So thanks to POD and YouTube, kind of got to meet Adam, who then invited me. I could come to his house, and I got to see Florida, which would have been a lot harder if it wasn't for this. So met Juna as well at the and Bailey at the Mid Summit conference.
That's right.
That was really fun. And on the travel topic, my parents actually never got to travel much, because they had me and my sister to look after, and I was able to book them a holiday last year, which is also
amazing.
That's the best.
So, kind of to pay it back to them in a sense. So that was kind of a wish come true, thanks to this PUD business. So yeah, that's
commendable, man. That's pretty awesome.
That was an awesome feeling as well to give back to your parents. So I hope that's motivating in a sense to some of you watching. What else have we got? All right, another tool question. Thanks for the live. What is the best site for POD research? Merch Informer, PODCS, Podly, Merch Ninja, Pretty Merch, or others? These are all Amazon merch.
That's
research
true.
Tools.
That's right.
I think I don't know all of them. I've not used all of them.
Yeah, I only used like 2 of them of those.
I think Merch Informer is kind of outdated. It has like 1 or 2 cool features, but besides that, I don't like it that much. Pretty Merch is good. I don't know their research features that much, but you use.
I use it. I only use it. Well, I just didn't say I only use it, but I like to use it because it's right there built into. I'm always checking my numbers and stats anyway. I'm like, oh, it's right there. I don't have to log into anything else. Let me check research and things like that. So that's handy.
Easy enough.
Yeah.
PODCS is quite decent because it's also very affordable. So it's like a good sort of beginner entry level tool. I like Flying Research more though, because they have a lot more features and a bigger sort of database of shirts. But you don't necessarily need a research tool. It can help you, but just the Amazon search bar is really, really powerful. And
the BSRs.
BSRs, reviews. But yeah, out of the ones that I've tested, probably Flying Research is my favorite. What about Etsy research tools? Bailey, what's your go-to there?
I'm an Everbee and eRank person. I've tried all the other ones, but I love that Everbee's just install because I'm so numbers. Like I just want to see all the numbers right away. And then eRank has its place because then I like the graphs over there. So I mean, I can't pick and choose just one. Those two, yeah.
I'm the same. The Chrome extensions for both of them too, right? That's great.
Yeah.
Like, eRank's Chrome extension they came out of the gate swinging, and it's awesome too. But I do most of my Amazon research on Etsy too, because an Etsy evergreen shelf life for an evergreen design on Etsy will probably, if it's starting to dwindle, you might get 2 more years out of it on Amazon. It's kind of like
that's
that.
interesting.
Yeah, I haven't been able to take a bestseller on Amazon and put it on Etsy necessarily, but I've been able to take the bestsellers from Etsy, and because I've always thought of it as like Etsy being the boutique and Amazon being like the Walmart shopper, right? Or like
it kind of trickles down.
The UK fashion sense versus North America, right? They're 3 years ahead, and I look at kind of Etsy that way. So there's a lot more crossover now, but for a long time, and it still holds true for my bestsellers. I can take them and stick them on Amazon. I'll get another 2 years out of them, no problem. So I do most of my research on Etsy. It's just, it seems to be ahead of the curve that way, I think, for a lot of aesthetics. Yeah. But yeah,
I like that approach.
That's funny because I have it in my list of all of the ways I try to go find and teach how to find other trending designs. And I say, go look at Amazon. And I found many things on Amazon that had never been touched on Etsy. And we just modify it for tumbler wraps and glass jar designs. And it works.
Wow.
So
nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
There you go.
Yeah. Sometimes if you're always just doing research on the same platform and you feel like you're not really getting anywhere, just try somewhere else.
Yeah.
You can go on something
Absolutely.
like Ripple. Like you never know what you're going to see that doesn't exist yet on another platform.
That's right.
So
that's a good way to stand out. If it doesn't exist on Etsy and then you put your thing on there, you have something new that people might want to buy.
That's probably the best way to look at it. If you can identify a gap, right? Ultimately, if something's here and not over here, then put it over here, right? I think that's that's smart. And that's also why I think it's good to, see what you can glean from conversations like when you have the 4 of us doing it, right? We're all, arguably successful in our own rights, but you can see that there's obviously many ways to win, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, like Jay does 3 designs a month. I do 3 designs a minute. It's completely different approaches.
Yeah, but I also take a lot longer to create those designs, and you are doing them in a minute, right?
Yeah. Mine are definitely less quality and less sort of targeted than yours. There's just to say,
it doesn't mean they're less quality, but maybe less targeted.
Yeah, less targeted. And I don't go after big niches much, right? I go after more like low to medium competition. Then there's like Tamaz, for example, says forget about lottery campaigns, only do like specific 1 ASIN campaigns. Whereas Merch Professor, which some people might know from Instagram, he's all about lottery campaigns and just loads and loads of designs, and he's getting tons of sales.
And it works too.
Yeah. It's not like there's only one method that works. You kind of have to find the one that works to your strength and or plays to your strength.
And if you want to kind of try different ones, I would argue at least give it 6 to 9 months of the one method. Don't try one way for a month and then try to jump to the next, because you're going to get nowhere.
Yeah, that's a good thing to
I tried it for 2 weeks and got nothing.
Next.
Doesn't work.
Yeah. Usually the progress happens after 2 weeks.
I get that a lot too. If people are like, I have a shop. It has 10 designs. What am I doing wrong? I'm not getting any sales. I'm like, well, you have 10 designs and you've only been doing it for 2 weeks. You need some time and more designs.
The answer's in the question. Here we've got one that was asked a few times. Why is the tier up system so slow? I'm stuck at tier 25. Have been waiting for over 3 months. One of my friends has been waiting for 8 months, even after meeting all the requirements.
That's Amazon.
Loads of people in the same boat right now. It actually, I think, has probably never been this slow. Like, there hasn't been tier ups for like half a year, I think. It's annoying, but we can't really do much about it. We would hope, or you would think, that they'll give us a tier up before the Q4 sales rush, because now they have tumblers. Like, why don't they give us more slots?
So smart. Would be smart of them to do that, so they can get more products on Amazon.
I've been deleting a lot of my old listings just to be able to post more tumblers.
Really? Are you at a cap? You can't.
Yeah, I was full. I filled it up before summer, and I was quite happy to slow down on designing and uploading.
Wow.
But now I've been going back to like 2021 and filtering for designs that I've never sold and just deleting those.
Wow.
Yeah, mostly scale designs, right?
Yeah.
Which relates to another question. Is there any good productor alternatives? Kind of relates to the deleting products. The statistics tab and some other features stopped working. There is one that I've started to try, which a lot of people seem to really like. It's called Merch Rex.
Right. Merch
Have you heard of that, Jay?
I've heard of it. Yeah, no, I haven't used it. Are you guys using it?
I'm using it. Yeah, I love it. It's really good, actually. It's still new, so they don't have the same amount of features as Productor.
But it's Rex as in REX?
Yeah, just like T-Rex. And I do really like their sales dashboard.
Interesting.
The way the UI looks and the actual like products managed tab is great. It's good for filtering out different brands or niches, or getting ASINs for your ad campaigns, deleting listings in bulk as well. It seems to be a lot more stable than the Productor designs tab or products tab.
I saw that comment. Oh, Tomas says it's 12:40 a.m. there. It's Q4. Yeah, that's right. Today's Q4. Let's go.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Q4 started already. Wow. Where's the year going?
It's here. Let's go.
Yeah, nice. Right, we'll do. We'll do one more quick question and then do a couple of shop reviews.
All right.
Because I know we've been going for a while, but there's a few shops that were submitted. One on TeePublic actually.
Ooh, all right.
But one person said right here, this is in relation to Vid Summit. I think I'm in Texas, close to Dallas. Wish I could have hung out with y'all when you were here. How did you like Dallas?
Yeah, I didn't get out much. I mean, except for that little space right there with the Vid Summit. But
yeah, we were just kind of in the same place the whole time.
But it's good. I love the Dallas Fort Worth Airport. It was nice too. So
yeah, from what we saw, it was great. The people were nice. I liked the accent.
Yeah,
that's fun. Had a very good chicken fried steak. My first ever. That's not really a thing over here.
Really?
Chicken fried steak?
Yeah. Did you not have that, Jay?
I was never in Dallas, but we drove through it. But
oh, that's right. You're not from the U.S. That's a big thing
I'm from Canada. I'm just trying to process this.
So
it's what?
Fried chicken. Big picture fried chicken.
Dipped in.
Yeah, steak dipped in. Yeah, kind of. So you know the coating on fried chicken. You put that on a steak and you fry it. So chicken fried steak. Yeah. So instead of chicken, it's kind of a steak. Kind of.
One lesson that I learned is Americans like to fry stuff.
Yeah, it's a heart attack in every bite.
And then add gravy. Add gravy to it, and then you.
But no, chicken fried steak was awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
One lesson I learned is Philip likes to eat a lot of things.
Not supposed to know. Yeah.
I mean, I like meat, and so crispy and crispy things. So it sounds great.
It's crispy. Yeah. If you like fried chicken and you like steak, you probably will like chicken fried steak.
Yeah, sure. My excuse
Who
is I don't
doesn't?
like wasting food because Adam wouldn't finish his meals, so I had to eat his.
Really? That's
Yeah.
nice.
So you had to eat his.
It's the big portions of Texas, right?
Yeah.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Oversized, yeah.
So Adam
One thing I
struggled.
had in the States for the first time that blew my mind was biscuits and gravy. When that
Mhm.
was when
That's a
we
big
were at
thing.
Disney or Universal Studios in Florida years ago. I was like, I don't even know. It's just like it's like an English muffin, but with gravy and chunks of beef and something else in it, and it
So
was
good.
amazing.
Yeah.
I needed a
We
nap after breakfast again, but it
Yeah.
was great.
usually cook that every other weekend
There
here.
you go.
So, I mean,
Oh,
It's good, but I don't know how you can function, right? Like, because you eat three
Oh,
of
you
those,
take a
and you
nap
gotta
after
go.
that.
You're going
Yeah.
to the couch for the next 3 hours. You're going to take a nap.
I'm
So
a big
good.
foodie too, Philip. So if we ever meet up again, we should go
yeah. Next
restaurant
event
to restaurant. Yeah.
we'll have to go out for food.
Yeah.
Biscuits and grape. Biscuits kind of look like scones. Scones.
Kind
Yeah,
of.
they're kind of like
But they're not as hard.
right,
Those.
and they're usually more like softer inside with like a light flaky.
Mhm.
I'm
Buttery.
learning and I'm loving.
Mm.
Oh, we've got a Floridian sausage with gravy on
Yes.
biscuits.
See?
There
That's
you go.
right.
Nice. Whoops. Did you try sweet tea? Yes, I did.
You can't
I
avoid it in
think-
Texas. It's there. It's obvious.
I think I might have had it at Costco actually.
Really
'Cause
nice.
I did the Costco experience with the $1 hot dog.
Oh yeah, you got to try the $1 hot dog.
We
actually
do have
discovered-
that. in
That's
Canada.
American.
We actually discovered. I discovered we have it in the UK as well, Costco, but it's only in like a few places. Not very common.
Oh,
But I
okay.
never knew. Yeah. Anyway, let's.
Sounds like
let's
we might
get
have to
back
do a
to
food
this.
channel one of these days.
Yeah, the food live stream. Turn into the next episode with food reviews. Let's do some shop reviews, and
Yes.
then we've actually still got a couple of like personal questions after this.
Wow, this has been a great
Yeah,
one.
it's been fun. Let's start off with the T Public here.
On T Public. Oh,
Let
nice.
me know if you can see it. It says
I can see it. Yep.
the designs.
Designs by M.
By
Yeah,
M.
it's not Designes Bayem.
Right, here we go.
Okay.
Ooh, that looks like DALL-E.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
Quite like the
I
layout.
love that you guys can tell which AI created it immediately. I'm not that well versed with the AI.
This looks like Kittle to me. Not necessarily AI, but it feels like a Kittle design. But anyway, let's enough with the guessing. First impressions. What do we think?
I think it's all right. I think you got to watch some. I think the biggest thing on T-shirts, at least for T Public, is you need to make it look like a T-shirt design and make sure not only that, but also think about who's going to be wearing it, right? So, like, I don't know, like, is that a T-shirt design? The two post-its? Yeah, I don't know if who's. Oh no, that might be tumblers or something, right? Why is it?
Might be optimized for another product. Let me see if I can open it.
Oh, it's a mug. Man, I really wish they'd just put the mug on there for
Amazon.
T Public. Yeah, on T Public. Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice design, though. But
yeah, that's kind of tough, though, right? When you can't tell what product it is until you click on it.
Yeah, that's hard.
Seems like
hard to make a sale on. That's T Public's fault, though.
Missed opportunity.
T Public should put this right here, the product on there instead of just the design, or at least do the one design. I don't know how they. Yeah.
If people are looking for mugs, I guess it shows.
They would see it here. Yeah. Oh, good. At least here it looks like mugs. But yeah, if I would think that him, daddy. I don't know if people would wear that. Yeah. Yeah, they look like Kittle. That's true.
Yeah. So I think some of the designs are definitely going into the right direction and look quite good. Like I like this. My favorite spirit is tequila. That looks like it.
That somebody would actually wear that. And
good structure.
Halloween.
Friendsgiving Squad. That's a little bit tough to read, I would say. This one, but again,
especially the text underneath too, right? It's hard to even see that.
because the normal friends are too mainstream. That's tough to read. I would say if you have smaller text, don't use a font that's too kind of decorative or handwritten, because that tends to be more difficult to read. Have more of a plain font for the smaller words.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
I tend to talk of like what we would call display fonts or ornamental fonts, right? Is like I use them as an analogy, as like think of like really hot pepper, right? You want to use sparingly and only a little bit, because you can easily add too much and ruin the entire dish, right? It needs to be decipherable, and the readability level has to be there, like on the spot. You don't want people clicking in and clicking a second time just to zoom in, just to read it, to find out they potentially might not even want it.
One thing I like to do is change the background color. Like you have a lot of black ones on here or white ones. It's nice to kind of change the background color on different ones to have more variety on your store. So.
Yeah, when my Tea Public was doing well, one of my best sellers was on like a blue, like a light blue. I remember. Since the tier system, it's all kind of stopped. But
I would say a lot of nice designs on here too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they're all.
Not sure about this layout. I think this is an example where you're kind of you're trying to be too tricky with the text. Like you're the line I want. This kind of like vertical layout is kind of tough to read.
Yeah, and careful with contrast, like that dark text on a black, or the other one too.
Oh, this one, yeah.
Dark text on black T-shirt, kind of hard to read, right? So.
Yeah.
And that dinosaur one too. It's not. You can't just reverse something that was intended to be lighter on the dark, or darker on the light, right? You've got the white element in that, or the blue in this case, should be black, and the knocked out elements should be white. It's the reverse, right? So you can add an outline. The way to fix that is, there you go. That's how it's supposed to look, right?
Yeah.
You flip it so that the white parts of that are still lighter, and you can put an outline on it, right? And then you can keep the right color.
If it's on a dark,
yeah, that's why it's not.
Now it's the opposite, and it doesn't look right.
Yeah, so I would say on TeePublic, you're able to pick the colors that work well. You can either click dark or light, or hand pick the colors. Go in there. I know it takes a little longer, but go in there and make sure that it works on the different colors so that you don't have that problem. You didn't have to pick black in that scenario, right? If you didn't want to put the outline, like Jay was saying, you could have just left it to light colors. That would work better. So.
One more thing I would say here with the cat daddy design, I think this is going to be tough to sell, because it's very broad, right? It's just a cat. It's not a specific cat. You're on TeePublic. I'm guessing you're probably not running ads to it. So, I mean, what do you think, Jay? Because you would say go broad or go home, but do you think there is much sense on uploading a design that is that broad? Especially,
I think I agree. The design itself is super generic. I also think that if you're going to target a daddy, it's more of a feminine, bubbly style font. The colors I would revisit. The cat doesn't need to have the same color spectrum as the retro sunset behind it. And very similar has been done 1,000 times. So go big and go broad in the big niches, but definitely try to bring something new. Or
really
unique.
Great. Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. Oops. Let's go to the next one. I think the next shop has got some tumbler designs.
Oh, nice.
So that should be interesting. Try and get it up.
We're finally going to see Bailey writing down some notes now.
There you go.
Idea.
You have a tumbler right now. Jay's drinking from it. What does that one say?
Oh, get shipwrecked on one side and Jay's way on the other.
Oh, it's yours.
Wait, let me try and make you center stage. Let's show it again, because you were really tiny there.
Oh, so I've got just the Jay logo there, but then Get Shipwrecked is another brand that we started that we haven't kind of fully actioned yet, but I did buy all the .coms and trademarks pending. But it's
did we release it too early?
It kind of in the vein of creating products for people like us that like to travel, potentially beach, potentially travel oriented entrepreneur type deal. Like the idea with us getting shipwrecked is like get shipwrecked, but don't send help, right? We're intentionally stuck here on an island.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, there's some tumblers. There you go. And t-shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
kind of mixed-
so they're
mixed
selling
tumblers.
only digital. So a couple things, and I'm sure you guys have already said it, but on t-shirt designs, when we sell them like this, we would really want to just zoom in on that t-shirt design because I can't see even what those are. So that would either lead to me clicking it, which would waste your click if you were running ads, or just a conversion issue later if you have too many people clicking on it because they can't tell what it is. But like that flower one is really, really good. That daisy one, like, so just zoom in almost just so like the whole t-shirt is showing. And like those pumpkins, because I can tell that's like a customizable one. You want them to be able to know. And with those, normally you usually want to make like a little sticker or a little icon that says personalizable or customizable so that they know, because a lot of people actually search for those that way.
Nice.
Yeah, it's surprising how many what the search volume is for the word personalized.
Mm.
So
One
you
thing
said,
I will add is the actual aesthetic of the mock-ups is really nice, I think.
yeah.
Although, they could be more zoomed in. I think the shop itself has like it feels like a cohesive style of mock-up images.
Definitely.
Looks very Etsy-esque. Designs look cool too.
They look cool. Are all of these, so some of these are digital, right? But the tumblers are tumblers, right? They're not digital?
No, they're the
one
digital tumbler wraps.
Oh, okay. And so you buy it and then you wrap your own tumbler? How does that work?
Yes. So
Okay.
so this is where a lot of people just think that, like it's hard to explain. You can kind of see them back there, my tumblers. So that's exactly what my handmade is sublimation is this whole thing of you find a design or you make it, then you print it with a special printer, sublimation printer, and then we heat press it. So we either have like automatic heat presses, or you can bake them in an oven, or you can sorry, the dog. And then it's applied. So it's like a special ink that's released when the heat is adhered. So most of the people who work with me or myself, we're selling these to like crafters who have all of this equipment. Though now a lot of the POD people are buying the designs because Printify allows you to, though they're printing UV-DTF, not sublimation, but it still works. So the only thing I would say with the mock-ups on those tumblers is you normally, and I can't, maybe just because I can't tell with the screen, but they generally sell well, and we've tested this. Sorry, they sell better if they have a little bit of gloss to them. And so if you're using a Photoshop mock-up or generator, you can usually add that effect in there, and it just makes them look more real and not so flat.
Yeah.
So it looks more real.
Right. The curve,
the rounded, the highlight.
Yeah.
Shadows and highlights. Yeah.
But adding the flat lays like that is a really, really good idea, because that's where that comes into play, where people want to know if it's seamless or not. And so if you flat lay it like that, they can tell if it's going to be cut off on one side or not. So like this one would be cut off because the palm tree is like cut off.
I would just on this particular listing that Philip has clicked on, remove that one, because Volkswagen has proprietary rights on the shape of the V, not only the logo. It's just like the grill that is on the Jeep. You cannot use that either.
Because the back of it doesn't look like a VW, but that front,
that would be enough to get the listing taken down for sure.
And they are quite on the ball with that, aren't they?
They're vigilant, absolutely.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't even say it in your title or anything, they will catch that one. VW is very famous for it.
But it's a cool looking design. I like the watercolor though.
Yeah. And I think generally the shop is really good looking. Nice looking designs from Dallas, Texas.
Very cool.
Okay, let me find the next one, because we've got one more Etsy shop. Here we go. Off road. Very busy banner.
Yeah, that's what my woe was. Yeah,
usually,
there's a lot on there.
this might just be my opinion, but I think usually the busier something is with lots and lots of text and graphics, the less professional it looks. And also, a lot of this stuff is kind of squished to the edges. I feel like if you give your graphics or your text more space to breathe, that also typically looks better. But yeah, that's just the banner. Let's look at the listings.
And that's a good point, because like, you know, we see this in actual designs too. Like, I understand the want to jam in as much as you can, but not everything is intended to be like a, you know, a full-on ad billboard type thing. And the more elements you add to a design, the more artistically educated you need to be to know how to make those elements work together in a way that isn't overwhelming. So less is always more.
Yeah. And if you have that much to read, they probably won't read it at all, because they don't know where to start. So
it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Whoops. All
Oops.
right. You still see it?
Yeah. I can't read that one, the gnome one in the middle, that one that you were just on in pink. I see in October grandmas wear pink, but I can't see what's under it. So.
Gnomes were pink, breast cancer awareness. Yeah, very small, very, very small, thin, like script font, which those script fonts are typically hard to read. But if they're really thin and a small size, almost impossible. I do like the fact that the mock-ups are more zoomed in.
That's true. That's a good point.
Right. Some of these, at least, are
easier
to see the design. You can still tell that it's a t-shirt. This one is a little tough because you can barely see it's a t-shirt in this case. In terms of the designs, I think, yeah, it's similar to the banner in some cases.
Yeah.
Where
it's a bit busy.
Might be too much sometimes.
So let's find an example. So this one stood out to me with the Vote 2024 Yeti for President. Let's click into it.
Oh, that one.
Can I zoom in? Yeah, I can zoom in. So we've got kind of a 3-dimensional text at the top, which I think generally is not the greatest choice on t-shirts. The 3D badge. Then you've got a 2D graphic underneath, which doesn't really match the style. Yeti for President, the third choice. Then there's a cat here. There's a lot of elements.
Yeah,
they're kind of conflicting with each other in a sense. Makes it difficult, at least for me, just in my opinion, makes it difficult to process the design and like trying to understand the point of it. And the fact that the colors and the styles don't match makes it kind of less aesthetically pleasing.
Agreed.
Yep.
It's nice that they're showing the different colors that it comes on.
Yeah, I think having like a color overview is good.
Again, though, you don't have to fill the entire space and overlap, right? You can have them much smaller and with space around them. Use the negative space. It acts as its own kind of element. Breathing room ultimately is what, you know, what Philip had said earlier. I think that would make sense.
So if I was to give you any advice, it's looking at design principles. And kind of educating yourself on that side of things.
Agreed. Yeah, a lot of it looks like it's just thrown together without any design principles. I mean, there are some that
this one's
like
quite decent.
Yeah.
Quite like this one. Land of Free, thanks to the brave. That's more of a clear, like symmetrical layout. Just 2 graphics. So there is some good ones mixed in right here. Female veteran. That's also a better layout, I would say. But some of them are kind of difficult in terms of the layout.
I would say if you could keep it a little more simple and have the text more readable, that would go a long way. So
what do y'all think about this shop's kind of the feel of being cohesive compared to the last one?
I feel like it's in the same vein as the design and the banner. It's just kind of a lot of elements slapped together. I feel like there was no thought process as to how you want your shop to look. And I think part of that is because there's no real niche having been chosen, right? It's a lot easier to have some kind of cohesion if you're selling. It's one thing if you're selling if you're a product store, like in Bailey's case, if you're selling one product but to multiple niches. But when you're selling an end product to a consumer, like in a POD space like this, when you're combining like there's a lot of feminine stuff, and then there's the political stuff, which is super divisive, and in most cases, they're kind of conflicting niches. They're all over the place, and I feel like what's going on in your head is kind of what has transpired in your shop ultimately. And I'm not saying this to be extra critical or harsh, but I feel like there's not a lot of direction. I feel like if you pick one of the niches and just go to town on it for a while, you'll naturally recognize the fonts through your research that make the most sense for that niche, the color schemes that make the most sense, how to use like hierarchy with your fonts and not necessarily just overuse of the ornamental stuff. To everybody else's credit, what they said too with the scripting fonts, they're hard enough to read. There's not enough contrast on the pink on the black on the thin script. And then to Bailey's point, you're going to sacrifice your conversion rate because people are clicking on it just to see what it says. Double-edged sword is that if you've paid for an ad now, you're also out money before they decide not to check out.
Yeah, sound advice. And I just want to do a quick swap over to the previous shop just to see the contrast. I like the quick comparison. Very similar looking styles and mock-ups, whereas...
And you can look at, shops in one of the niches you choose that are killing it and look at their shop alone, right? They're probably sticking with 4 or 5 main mock-ups, reusing those, slightly different zoom in levels depending on the design. But even using the same 4 or 5 mock-ups will give you at least some semblance of cohesion to start. Yeah.
Right. That is all the shop reviews.
That last shop looked like it had like 200 designs, and I would say before you put that many designs, like work on your look and feel of your designs first. Like get good at creating designs, because I think a lot of people make that mistake is they don't know how to create a design, but then they upload 500 designs and wonder why they're not getting sales. It's not necessarily the number of designs. Like you have to have something that people want to buy first, and so it's not just a numbers game. I think they hear that a lot. Like print on demand's a numbers game. Well, it is after you know how to design and create something good. Then but you can't just throw up lots of things that aren't going to sell because it's not going to work.
Yeah,
quantity only matters if you're not sacrificing quality, right? The quality still has to be there for sure. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Cool. Let's talk about some little personal stuff at the end. Fun questions, and then I think we're done for this week. Still 135 people watching.
Wow!
Thanks to everyone who's tuned in. Also, any viewers from
Is that
Jay's
the biggest
channel.
ever? That's probably because of Jay, right?
Yeah.
No, no way.
Everyone
I had
watching.
when we started, it was like 40 on Phil's channel. I had 3 on mine. So yeah,
nice.
You've brought more people in still, so that's cool. We'll try and do this with more channels in the future. I think get a bigger audience. But yeah, thanks.
Well, now that we know it works. So the comments that were coming on your YouTube and my YouTube were all showing up in StreamYard in the same. So that's cool too, right?
That's awesome.
Perfect. Okay. Right. First one we've got. Would you rather time travel back or into the future? Would you rather travel back in time or into the future?
Can we go back in time and then relive everything, or we go back and forth kind of thing? I'm making it too complicated.
Man, loaded question, right? I'd love to go back in time with what I know now, but I also don't know if I love where I'm at. I also am excited for what's to come. So I'm stuck on that one. I'll let you guys really, if you have a choice.
Yeah, I definitely would love to travel back and relive some things and do fix my mistakes or do something better and things. But I am excited about the future and what happens. But what if you travel? The future is unknown. So if you went to the future and it's some kind of dystopian future, that'd be kind of bad. But
Although I
Yeah,
love those
no,
kinds of movies.
Yeah, the movie. With the movie, it's great.
the future seems more risky, right? Because you
Yeah,
might
future's
stumble
risky.
into a worse reality.
Yeah.
I think part of this whole journey for me though is being comfortable outside of my comfort zone, like getting
Mhm.
comfortable outside of that. And for me, that what's makes me hungry and excited for what's to come. But yeah, sorry, Philip, cut you off.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
What do you think?
I would
see
I would
what
choose
Douglas
back to the future because I'd be too scared. Or I mean back to the past. I'd be too scared of the future.
Yeah, futures could be scary. Back
Carla
in time,
is
invest in
fine right
Bitcoin. Yeah,
now.
see, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you didn't know though, right?
Mhm.
It might not be Bitcoin if you go back. It might be something else now, right?
You might
Now
have
your money's
changed the future if you go back and do something.
Yeah. Carla saying I'm fine right where I am. I saw you highlight that. That's great. It's a
Yeah.
great,
Oh, 300 years from
being
now.
in the
Whoa,
present.
that's way future. Yeah, I was just thinking like 50 years.
I'm conflicted. I don't know. I don't want to see where we're at in terms of the climate change in 20 or 30 years, never mind 200 or 300, unless we make a serious shift, right? It's kind of scary.
I think it would be interesting to see it if you can go back, but if you were to be stuck there, that kind of thing is like, imagine someone from 200 years ago waking up today.
Yeah,
They would just no, it wouldn't work, right?
Mhm.
They would probably rather go back in time to
yeah.
their old
Even
reality.
50
Or
years
50
ago.
years, yeah. I feel like people's like our operating system is not made for 2310 or whatever.
Mhm.
So
You'd have to learn a
yeah,
lot.
although it'd be fun to see, also scary in a sense.
Everyone would have chips in their head or something, and robots would be walking around.
Yeah.
Not a lot of things scare me other than like heights and death, but like having a view or being plunked 300 years in the future, I think would be scary.
Did you? Oh, do you remember that talk from what was his name from Vid Summit? It was one of the opening talks actually.
Oh
The
yeah,
guy
yeah,
who was
yeah.
talking about AI.
AI, yeah.
Yeah,
It
he
was
saying
scary.
it was
Yeah.
scary, but
He made it scary. That's 'cause he
I
laughed.
I didn't. I wasn't there. Tell me.
well, the kind of summary of it, I guess, was that we're going to have a world where half of the people just live in a virtual reality in a sense, in combination with AI, and it's like
'Cause
some
you can't
people
tell the
will reject.
difference. Yeah.
People will reject that. Some people will reject it, and some people will jump onto it and be a part of it because it's. And he was saying that's why there has not been any like aliens that have found us, because everyone who advances far enough to travel into space realizes it's way more fun to travel into like digital worlds. I don't know. It was he explained it way better than I could. But what was his name?
Oh, what was his name?
Wow, interesting.
He's the guy who did all like he had that nutrition company
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
he was
Tom Billio. Tom Billio.
yes, yes.
We got it. We got it now.
Tom Billio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Funny name.
He has a big YouTube channel too.
Cool.
Yeah, and a podcast.
Obviously, because YouTube, it was a YouTube conference. So, but yeah, I'm sure he was very animated though. That guy is like on, like he was on something or something.
That's like the holodeck in Star Trek, or like, do
Mhm.
you remember a movie Existenz from back in the day? It's like you
Mhm.
plug in a chair and you go into like, I don't know. It's like kind of like being in the Matrix in a way.
Matrix, yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, it's a would you rather? Would you rather give up music or movies / YouTube videos? So
Oh,
basically, audio or visual media.
I'm a more visual person, so I mean, would movies have to be closed captioned though? Is that what you...
So, wait, is there no soundtrack in every movie?
Well, no,
No.
you would have. Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
I would do the movies though. I'm more movies than music, I think.
Yeah, I guess
Movie,
you still have soundtracks.
YouTube.
Yeah, I think
Movie.
I couldn't live without YouTube and
Yeah.
film.
You're talking to YouTubers, man.
What are people saying in the
as much
comments?
as I love music, I feel like that's the one that has to go because I need to be visually stimulated too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Music is tough to let go.
If
But
we were on a podcast, maybe it would be music, but we're all YouTubers.
what do you all think? Everyone who's watching, let us know. We've got one music is
Music is
live.
life. That's, I mean, It was a hard choice.
There was a time where I would agree.
Yeah.
Just host an in-person coaching event.
Oh, yes.
In another group chat we're in, we've discussed, toss this idea around, right? It would be cool to do.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There was this thing I passed around in the WhatsApp. Is somebody came up with this idea where you can set up like a cruise event where you go to the cruise and all your fans go to the cruise and then have a round table in the middle of the cruise. I'm like, that is cool.
That did sound really cool. Where did you find that? What was
I don't
that
know.
from?
It was I subscribed to the Colin and Samir newsletter, and they had that as one of their posts a week ago or so. But yeah,
Oh,
it's a pretty cool idea.
damn. I mean, me and Adam hosted that.
Oh yeah, how did that go?
Meetup. That was really fun. It wasn't so much as a coaching session. It was more like a few people getting together and getting to know each other and talking about different POD avenues. But it was super fun. It was like 5 hours and it flew by like it. And me and Adam learned a lot as well. There's some people doing Etsy, some people doing merch, some people doing or starting with TikTok shop.
Mm-hmm. I got to do that. That just sounds so fun. TikTok shop.
Yeah, it was definitely a great experience, and I'd do it again for sure. And I'm really happy that quite a few people showed up as well, because when I tried it in York, which is arguably not the greatest city to do it in, but we were only like 3 people. But I think in Orlando we were like a group of 7 or 8. It was quite good. It's a good turnout. Not so big that's like difficult to hear everyone and stuff. Just the right size, I think, right amount of people. It's fun.
I was a Marine, no cruises. Oh, maybe something else then. We could do a meetup in a city.
I would need music when I design. Yeah,
that is a cool. You can't.
That's when I used to use it for the most part, or drawing in my sketchbook even. Yeah,
that makes the most sense.
Focus. Yeah. Last question: coffee or tea?
I usually don't drink those, but if I had to pick, I like fruity teas, like herbal, fruity, pineapple, strawberry. Those can.
You've got a bit of Brit in you.
Oh, I do? Nice.
I don't drink coffee at all.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Me too.
You don't either.
Normal, because where you're from. That's what you guys drink over there, right? Tea?
Well, to be honest, lots of people here drink coffee just as much as
Really?
tea. But yeah.
But not you.
Honestly, like working in an office in England, it's like every half an hour someone's like, "Oh, who wants a brew? Who wants a cup of tea?" Like that's literally all day long. It is a big part of the culture here. What about you, Jay?
I think I like the taste of various teas better, but I'm addicted to coffee. Like this is iced coffee, right?
Oh, here we go. We've got someone just said that. Iced coffee.
Coffee. There you go.
Yeah. Only because it's too hot here for hot coffee. I don't crave that, but like in the winters in Canada, for sure, we were coffee all day almost, right? Like I just enjoy it. But I do think I like the taste of tea better. I just coffee, addicted to coffee. Yeah.
Okay. So tea tastes better than iced coffee, but you just can't stop. Can't stop drinking it.
Sounds about right.
What did Bailey say?
Red Bull.
Coffee and what Cindy says.
Oh, Red Bull. There you go.
But sugar-free. Wow. But sugar-free. Okay.
Okay.
But coffee.
Nice. So tea and 2 teas and 2 coffee were split.
And I just realized it's after 4 p.m. here, and I should not be adding any more caffeine.
Could be worse. Could be midnight.
That's right.
People in the chat still drinking coffee. Someone asked, "Do I put milk in the tea?" I do not. I used to.
Oh, nice.
But now it's just black.
Black. Nice.
I don't really drink tea that often anyway. Occasionally.
Somebody said green papaya tea. That sounds great.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Where's that? I missed that one.
Carla mentioned it, a little 5th comment up or 6th comment up.
That sounds
right. I'm blind.
I would have to.
One of my favorite teas is like a ginseng tea or a Chinese green tea.
Ooh, matcha. Or I guess that's not green tea. Hojicha.
Not quite, but yeah. And then, just like an orange pico, I really do like something traditional. Man, now I'm craving tea.
Mm-hmm.
But I also like, like a minty or a lemony kind of lemon ginger kind of thing too.
Those are good too.
So many flavors and so much better for you than caffeine and sugar. So I got to make life changes here, right? Yeah. But I want to try that deep fried meat.
Chicken fried steak.
What? Yeah.
With a side of biscuits and gravy.
Yeah, fried meat. Sounds great.
Meat fried meat.
And some British tea.
There you go.
Perfect meal for Jay.
Getting hungry. Yeah.
All right. That's it for this week.
Yay.
Well, this week. We don't do it every week. But yeah, glad to be back doing these. Probably do another one in like 2 to 3 weeks from now. If we get enough people together. Thanks to everyone who came to join us. Thanks for all the great questions.
Yeah. We got to get more than 4 next time. Let's see if we can get 6 or 8. That would be fun.
Yeah, let's try and get more people. I think the max or the top's been 5 people at once.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, let's try and get 6 next time. Okay. Awesome. So thanks to everyone who joined, and all of the channels, I'll leave them in the description down below. I think I forgot to do that. No, they are there. So if you're new to any of the people on this stream and you want to see more, all the links are down below. Okay, cool. Thanks to all of you for coming on as well and spending 2 hours here.
Yeah,
that's really appreciated. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one.
Hey, man.